For today's video, I want to take a look at the private military company known as the Shadow Company. What we are trying to do here is understand the world and the lore of Call of Duty better. We have covered in great detail the story of the rebooted Modern Warfare series and the Black Ops series from 1961 to 1984. We have looked at the careers of Captain Price, Commander Graves, Sergeant Soap, and Alex Keller. However, today's video will be centered around the Shadows organization. Thank you for joining me, and let's begin. The Shadow Company was created back in 2017 under the command of Phillip Graves, a former United States Marine who left the Corps due to wanting to do more and take matter into his own hands. The Shadows have made a pretty big name for themselves and are considered an elite PMC. When it first launched, it labeled itself as a global risk management contractor that specialized in protection, troop, air, and maritime deployment anywhere in the world. Commander Graves made it his mission to make the Shadows a force to be reckoned with, and soon after its creation, he showed that the Shadows were the real deal. In 2020, the Shadows were hired by Armicistance to locate Viktor Zakayev in Verdansk. Phillip Graves would send some of his Shadows to assist under the leadership of Marcus Lurch Ortega, who is a senior officer within the Shadow forces. However, they would fail to capture their target. Commander Graves was disappointed by this and felt as if his reputation could take a hit. However, that was not the case, because soon after, he and his Shadows were hired personally by General Herschel Shepard of the United States. The Shadow Company under Commander Graves impressed the general so much that he began to use them as his own personal PMC. And every time that he needed something done right, and more so quietly, he would hire them. The Shadows would assist in the assassination of General Gorbani of the Quds forces, and later they would transport American ballistic missiles for the general in an unsanctioned Black Ops operation. This would be catastrophic for the Shadow Company, because they would be intercepted by Connie Group members, and they would be murdered and lose these American missiles. During all of this, Commander Graves was given direction from a secure location, and upon witnessing his soldiers die, he became angry due to the fact that General Shepard didn't want to call for reinforcements to help his team.
Apollo, do you copy? General, I need an armed bird up now for visual. My men are in trouble, sir. I want this situation contained. That means this operation will not be reported. Right! General, my men are taking fire from Russia and PMC. This situation is not yet under control.
And here I believe that Graves held on to this for a very long time, as he is not one to forget. However, before anything could be done, Graves and his Shadows needed to retrieve these missiles, but they were told this needed to be kept secret as the general was operating outside of the law. The Shadow Company would assist in the capture of Hassan Ziani and the uncovering of El Sin Nombre cartel leader Valeria Garza. Commander Graves would personally handle most of the operations that the Shadow Company were a part of during this time, as he did not want to risk another screw-up. After two of the missiles were contained and destroyed, General Shepard gave the order to Commander Graves and his Shadows to eliminate any possible loose ends and take out Soap and Ghost from Task Force 141.
You boys have been relieved. Thank you for your service.
No. I don't take orders from you.
Didn't Valeria say that? Now that makes me wonder what else I don't know about your affiliation with the drug lord.
What the fuck did you just say to me, pendejo? Lying Graves.
Don't do that. Don't do that. No one needs to get hurt here.
Are you threatening us?
Soldier, I don't make threats. I make guarantees. So let's not do this.
The Shadows would take over a military base in Mexico that belonged to Alejandro's Vaqueros and would attempt to kill the members of Task Force 141. After both members escaped, Graves took Alejandro into custody, and a few days later, the Shadows would be ambushed by a joint attack from Los Vaqueros and Task Force 141, led by Captain Price. Commander Graves would avoid death in being captured as he made an escape with some of his Shadows. However, most of the world believed that Graves had died during this assault. Because of this, Commander Graves would stay in the literal Shadows and would put his second-in-command, Osman Oz Ryan, in charge for the foreseeable future. However, Graves would operate everything from afar. Oz was never really in control, he just did what the commander wished. And after about 9 months in hiding, Commander Graves would re-emerge and take back full control of the Shadow Company, and he would meet with the ULF's Farah Karim and Alex Keller, as they would work together in fighting the ever-growing powerful Connie Group, who have traded jabs with the Shadow Company for a few years now. Sometime later, Connie Group members would infiltrate the Shadows and would steal a dangerous gas that Vladimir Makarov was after. The Connie Group members would kill all the Shadow Company contractors in sight, once again dealing a blow to Graves and the Shadow Company. However, this possessed a huge threat globally, and the Connie Group needed to be stopped. A few weeks later, on November 10th, 2023, the Connie Group would attack an Urzikstan port that contained U.S. missiles provided by the Shadow Company to the ULF. Connie would steal these missiles, but Farah Karim was able to place a tracker on them under the guidance of Commander Graves. All of this meant that a confrontation with Task Force 141 was once again looming. In the meantime, however, the Shadow Company would look for ways to stop the Connie group and Vladimir Makarov, who was now a free man and looking to cause global warfare. The Shadows found intel on Milena Romanova, who was Makarov's personal financier. After getting this, Graves met with General Shepard, who was in a meeting with Task Force 141.
Soap, you find the money, you find the man.
Where are you getting intel? Without an army, you got nothing.
Wrong again, boys.
Unfucking believable.
So, you missed me? Well, technically, you did, didn't you?
Laswell, if you're tracking this, let's call an airstrike.
Ghost, that is not nice.
What are you up to?
I'm up to doing my fucking job, kid. You should try it sometime.
A temporary truce was made, and the Shadows worked alongside Task Force 141 once again to retrieve the stolen gas and kill Vladimir Makarov. And on November 16th, it looked like they achieved their goal. They would secure the chemical gases that Connie stole and presumably killed Vladimir Makarov. The Shadow Company would exfil and head back to base. A few days later, the Shadow Company was in hot water, and their founder and commander, Phillip Graves, was in a Congress hearing that was about the blue-on-blue incident that occurred in Las Almas, Mexico, back in 2022. Here, Graves betrayed Shepard. But in reality, I believe that Graves always knew that he couldn't trust the general, and I especially believe that after he denied his Shadow's help. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't think Graves is the type to forget, and he knew that this day would come, and when it finally did, he made sure to bury Shepard.
Were you given orders to use lethal force against TF-141?
Yes, I was.
Who gave you those orders?
General Herschel Shepard.
Did you act on those orders, Mr. Graves?
No, absolutely not, sir.
Quiet! Quiet!
With General Shepard dead, Graves and the Shadow Company are potentially in for a new lease on life, as they can take other jobs and have maybe learned from prior mistakes. Currently, the Shadow Company is in Urzikstan, where they are assisting in the fight against Connie once again, maybe making up for past sins, or just doing what's convenient. This is the current story and the history of the Shadow Company.
All Shadows, listen up! These guys on the ground, Mexican Special Forces, 141, they are your brothers now. Treat them like your own, and let's get this done, yeah? Yeah. All right.